This is just one of the buildings gutted by those flames, and if you take a look behind me, you can see volunteers still here trying to see what they can salvage. But I want to show you just the amount of debris that they have been able to clear throughout the day. And this couple is still processing the devastation. You can just see the damage that's been done to their home. I spoke to the gentleman here who tells me it was a neighbor across the street who saw the flames and ran over to help, pulling his wife to safety. You can see flowers, candles, and offerings all brought out by community members honoring the many people who've been killed in shootings by ICE officers. Eric, Heather, Henrico's tree lighting is set to take place in just 2 weeks. But this stump that I'm sitting on is all that's left of the iconic tree that stood here for decades. But although the tree has been cut short, the tradition won't be. I am here at the Science Museum of Virginia, where staff is over the moon about tonight's launch. That's a moon pun there for you. It's set to be a historic mission. And speaking of history, I'm actually standing in front of a piece of history here in Henrico, just off of Staples Mill Road. And I'm just going to step out of the way so you can see kind of what the conditions are looking like behind me. When we first got here, the road was pretty wet, but at this point now we got some sludge that's starting to build up. Mother's Day is often celebrated with a bouquet, and tonight a Richmond artist is using this beauty to bring attention to that troubling statistic. From here, this pond looks frozen solid and can seem inviting, but first responders say that ice can be dangerously thin, and once it breaks, cold water shock can make it nearly impossible for you to get out on your own. Just days after this deadly house fire claimed 2 lives, a Richmond community is now coming together, raising thousands of dollars to support a family torn by tragedy. That's the explosion that could be heard and felt for miles in the Keswick area.
This was a very, very loud boom. You could kind of feel it in your chest.
A 2-story home in this gated Glenmore neighborhood reduced to rubble on Tuesday night.
It appears we've got one house flattened on the ground. We've got debris field for over a block.
First responders say even they felt the blast minutes before they were flooded with 911 calls. 24 hours later, you can see several officers and fire crews along Ferndown Lane, investigating what officials believe was a gas explosion. Albemarle Fire Rescue says the homeowners weren't there at the time of the explosion.
We possibly have 2 victims, maybe more.
But say a woman who lived in the community and a man were both checking on the home because of a gas smell. Crews found the woman dead at the scene. The man suffered serious burns and is being treated at VCU's burn center.
We realized very quickly how easily it could have been any of us.
Even from a mile away, Patricia Butler says she and her husband felt the explosion rock their home. Nearby, lawns lined with debris and shattered windows could be seen at neighboring homes. Officials say 12 other homes were damaged by the impact. Both the Red Cross and the community are helping several people who've been displaced.
Our neighbors have taken in one of the families.
Butler says it's not unusual for neighbors to help one another in this tight-knit community, but says she's saddened to see a moment of support turn to tragedy.
There are people in this community that help each other by walking their dogs, checking their home. So my heart really goes out to the people who, took advantage of that same network and suffered, the worst possible nightmare.
The green is what it should look like, and if we didn't have that frost, all these little buds would have been green.
The start of a promising season for local wine growers hit with a massive blow. Parts of Virginia saw temperatures unexpectedly dip into the 20s Monday night, drying up much of the vineyards across the Commonwealth.
I hadn't seen an event like this in my entire career, so this was truly devastating.
Chelsea Blevins, winemaker at 53rd Winery and Vineyard in Louisa, says the impact was immediate.
As soon as I came to the property and you drove in, you could just see a sea of brown where there was a sea of green just, 24 hours before.
Blevins says they used burlap to cover some of their vines, but with at least 20,000 vines on site, it was difficult to protect them all.
I would guarantee on this site we lost at least 50% of our crop for this year.
According to the Virginia Wineries Association, wineries statewide are reporting crop losses as high as 80 to 90%. But owner David Drillock says all hope isn't lost. Some buds are still popping out, and secondary buds could also bring fruit.
Our goal is to just nourish everything along the plug vines, and so we get as many new buds popping out that haven't come out.
Because of the loss, the team says they'll likely be producing less wine next year, but don't plan to increase prices. In the meantime, they're focused on saving the surviving vines.
As painful as it may be to not get, any fruit off of the vines this year, we can't give up. We can't stop taking care of the vines. We're still going to have to keep pushing. Even if we won't see the fruits of our labor this year, we're going to have to keep pushing for next year's fruit.
We just can't process it. just a massive, massive void.
Staff at Virginia Living still struggling to come to terms with the sudden death of 23-year-old Hope Cartwright.
I saw her at 5:30 when she would leave and see you tomorrow, and within 3 minutes she was gone.
Cartwright was killed in a hit and run while crossing the intersection of South 2nd Street and East Carey Street, steps away from the Richmond-based publishing house where she worked as an associate editor alongside editor-in-chief Madeline Mayhood. Mayhood says it was staff members who made the devastating discovery.
The closer they got, they realized that's Hope's pocketbook, that's Hope's coat, that's her hat, and it was Hope.
The tight-knit team joined Cartwright's family in court this morning as the woman charged with felony hit and run made another request to be released on bond. A judge denying the appeal after prosecutors said 41-year-old Letitia Coleman was driving with a suspended license and had a criminal history spanning several years. Cartwright's loved ones letting out a sigh of relief in court.
This is Hope's space.
Flowers now sit at Cartwright's desk directly across from her coworker Gabby, who says showing up to work just doesn't feel the same.
There's like a huge hole right here. I feel like I'm just gonna peek and look at the top of her head like I used to. So
the three-person team, now down one member, says the magazine's upcoming issue will be dedicated to Hope and released within the next 2 weeks.
I also want people to not only remember her as like this brilliant journalist who had her life ahead of her, but also a beautiful human being.
It was uncalled for and unwarranted.
Richmond realtor Shadonna Bethel recalling the disturbing interaction with a Richmond pastor that's left her shaken. On October 8th of last year, Bethel says she was contacted by Tyrell Brown, pastor of Morningstar Baptist Church, to list his Chesterfield home. Bethel says what should have been a typical business appointment quickly became uncomfortable.
He was very aggressively making statements of sexual statements of the things I could do for him. At one point, I stopped him and I told him, Mr. Brown, I'm here to help you list your house, to help clean your home for you. And that wasn't enough.
As she was leaving the home, Bethel says the situation escalated.
Upon getting up, he grabbed me and tried to kiss me. I pushed back. He stated that I didn't know who he was. He was Dr. Tyrell Brown. No one says no to him. He's around 6'4". I guess I'm 5 feet. So him being as big and grabbing me, it caught me off guard and it set me back.
But it didn't end there. Bethel says she tried to remain calm as she walked to her car when Brown attempted to kiss her a second time.
He reached to come grab me again, and I turned my head, and his lips hit my cheek, which in court, that was a thing. On the lips, on the cheeks, it doesn't matter. I didn't ask for it either way.
Brown was charged with assault and battery, which under state law includes unlawful and unwanted physical contact. He was found guilty on February 10th.
I feel like some justice was served, at least him having to have made some type of accountability.
We reached out to Brown and his attorney for comment, but have not received a response.
Thanks for calling Morningstar Baptist Church, 3509 the Northern Turnpike, where our bishop is Dr. Tyrell O. Brown.
We also contacted the church and left a message, but did not hear back.
I feel like maybe he has held this from his congregation, and I feel like it's my duty to make sure everyone knows about him and his character.
Bethel says she's now seeking therapy and hopes to warn other women in her field to stay alert.
I hope my experience will help them just be more aware of their surroundings and don't go after dark. Leave your location on and let someone know where you are, just to be safe